of you all will recognize this wonderful young man Ryan Terrill, who graduated and was a champion gymnast for the Bobcats and left our state after doing such a phenomenal job with bringing our Bobcat program to such prominence. And are at that other university that has a great gymnastics program. And so we're so proud of you, and you've been gone 2 years. Does it seem fast for you? But you've had a lot happen.
I've had a lot happen, but it has. I can't believe I'm going to my junior year of college already. So it goes by pretty fast.
You were born and raised here, and started your path to becoming a champion gymnast when you were very young. How young?
I started the little children classes around 3 to 4, and then I actually started competition when I was about 6.
And most of our audience will have seen either in the newspaper or on television us with using your picture, Ryan. It's so indented in my mind because I don't think it was photoshopped.
No, that was during the state meet.
You were holding your whole body completely straight up by one arm on that little bitty bar.
Yeah, it was a skill on the parallel bar.
Yes,
so you actually swing through the top and spin on your arm.
Yes.
Go back to handstand. Yeah.
And what a great, beautiful picture to see something that so completely straight, and so few of us can do that, Ryan. It wouldn't even be safe if most of us.
It takes a lot of training.
Yes, but I watched you at district meets and state meets, particularly with your small gymnastics teams are pretty small, even in high school. Yeah. But you all are so bonded. You support each other. It's a team sport, but it's also an individual sport.
Yeah, you go out there individually, but you have your whole team backing you up and getting you ready. Especially in the gym, you need your team to push you and help you throughout all the hard practices. And that's one thing I've developed more. I mean, I had a great team in high school and team-based, and then in college it's just so much more focused on the team rather than yourself as an individual.
So you went to Oklahoma. How did you choose Oklahoma?
Well, OU has one of the best gymnastic programs in the nation. NCAA gymnastic programs. So they've been I don't know, 7, 8-time national champions, and then they've been runner-up for the past 4 or 5 years. So that if I wanted to pursue gymnastics, then that's what I wanted to do. That was my dream, to go to OU and make the gymnastics team.
Why is gymnastics not at all of the major highly competitive universities? We don't have that many in Texas even.
Yeah, there's not really. I mean, there's a lot of club teams around Texas colleges, but there's not that NCAA program like the closest one.
What do you think?
Well, there used to be a lot, and then they just started dropping the programs because of Title IX. They had to even up the girls and guys sports, so that kind of dropped a lot of men's gymnastics.
Well, I think it's a shame because look at the talent that has gone through just San Angelo ISD, and very few go on like you have to the college level.
In the college level, that area, there's only so many guys that can be on a team, and there's only so many teams. Some of the guys from junior Olympic programs or high school programs that want to do college gymnastics, they don't get the opportunity because they can't travel other states, or they want to stay in Texas, but they don't. There's not an NCAA program here, so it's kind of a shame that there's not one.
It is a shame because we sure have talent here in San Angelo and in our state, as evidenced by the state meets that we've been privileged to host here, and then I've been able to attend in other cities. You chose to go to one of the top programs in the country, and you got there and very soon were diagnosed with an illness that most people would have come home and quit.
Yeah.
You talk whatever a part of that and how you processed through that.
Yeah, well, I went up to OU, freshman year in college. I was hoping, trying hard to make the NCAA team. I ended up not making the team that year, and so that put me on the club team, which is like a JV team, JV varsity. So I was training on the club team for a little bit, and then ended up, I guess, around Thanksgiving. I was worried about, this mass that I had, so I went and see a doctor. And around Thanksgiving, I had a surgery, take it out, and then it sent for testing, and then I started recovering from that surgery. And then around Christmas, right before I went home for Christmas break, we got news back that it tested positive for rhabdomyosarcoma, which is a type of cancer, pediatric cancer. And so that sent me to a lot of different doctors, Fort Worth, we talked to doctors in Oklahoma City also. Ended up having a major surgery in Fort Worth the week before Christmas. And so that I spent 5 days in the hospital, and they released me 2 days before Christmas so I could have it with my family in Fort Worth, which I was grateful to be in the hospital for Christmas. So, and then after that, we talked to doctors, figure out my prognosis, all the treatments, what I need to do. And so that ended up being, it was going to end up being about 27 to 30 chemo treatments over the course every week until I finished that July. So from January to that July, I went through chemo. And then after major chemo treatments were ended, I would start radiation, which that was on the other side of Oklahoma City. So from Norman to my radiation treatments, I started that around March, April. That was about an hour drive back and forth while doing the spring classes. So, and then a couple more different surgeries. They had to move around some things, so they weren't damaged in radiation. So that was pretty rough. It felt like I would just get recovered from a surgery enough to get back into shape, try and build up some more strength, some better strength from I've lost from chemo, and then I would have to be pushed to another surgery again and just get wore down from chemo and radiation. But ended up in July 2013 was my last chemo treatment. So it was end, and it was all clear from there. It's been clear ever since. So,
well, where my path has been blessed to cross your path, I certainly could have just admired you even more than I already did, that you stayed in school, you did well in school, and you continued to work out to stay fit so that you wouldn't lose your gymnastics abilities.
Yeah.
And then you also, throughout all of that, drove yourself to treatments. And I can't even begin to tell you how much this city has admired you and prayed for you, quite frankly, Ryan. You took some, while you were most fragile, if that's, I'm sure there's a better word, you took some of your college classes online.
Yeah.
And some you continued to go to class.
Yeah, that spring semester, it ended up I took 2 classes online and 2 classes actually in class. So because I was going through chemo, I couldn't be around a lot of different people in a huge lecture room. I would get sick a lot easier, and so it was easier just to stay in my room and do the classes online, so I wouldn't get more sick than I already was.
What was the hardest thing about all of that?
All of that was just kind of, I don't know, the hardest thing. Just kind of the thought that I had cancer and was going through everything, It was just a major shock to me and my family that I've eaten healthy, I've healthy for all my life, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was just kind of a shock. So that was kind of the hardest thing.
And we're a long way from home.
Yeah, that was hard too. But ended up not being too bad because of my great friends at OU and teammates that were there to support me through the whole way, and the coaches there and everything. So, and then for the major chemo treatments, I had at least one family member who drove up there with me. But for the weekly ones, it was just me. But I'm grateful for my family and the church that I have, just praying for me, and grateful for everyone who supported me through it all. And so it ended up being good.
So you're now a regular college student.
Yeah, well, regular and meeting as a gymnast, yeah.
And an athlete.
Yeah.
And college athletics is, as my family learned through our son, is so different from high school. Talk to our audience about the major differences and adjustments. Take out all you dealt with your illness, but what is the major difference in what you face?
One of the major differences was the coaching was a lot more intense. The workouts are a whole lot more intense. You know, I was kind of getting really comfortable in the central gym my senior year. I've been there all my life. And then to go there my freshman year in college to make that huge jump with new coaches, new gym, and a lot of guys that were amazing at gymnastics. You know, I had some Olympians that were working out in there with me. It was kind of intimidating, and it was just kind of a hard adjustment to make, you know, just that huge jump with all the coaches. And they're more intense and yelling at everyone, and just, I think in every sport, really, that just coming from your comfort zone and then, you know, something completely new, different, and getting out of your comfort zone. That's the biggest leap for me. That was the biggest leap for me. So.
But you've hung with it, even through an illness that anyone would have not blamed you for just saying, I can't get well and stay on a gymnastics team.
Yeah, it would have been easier to come home and finish the treatments with my family and everyone right by me, but gymnastics was what kept me going, kept me fighting through it up in Oklahoma, because I wanted to show that and be an inspiration to other people who are battling cancer, and I wanted to stay with it and continue to follow my dream as being an NCAA gymnast for OU. So I wanted to show people that, although I got diagnosed with cancer, going through all this, I can still maybe somehow come out of it and, you know, kind of follow my dream, get healed from cancer, and just work hard and finish all my treatments and actually have a chance again to make the NCAA team.
So this school year you went to classes and you work out. Describe a typical week, a commitment to working out with your team.
Well, we work out about 6 out of 7 days a week, Sunday through Friday. And, you know, Sunday and Wednesdays are our light days. We spend about 2.5 hours in the gym, just not doing many strenuous workouts. And then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we have a morning workout, which is conditioning and ring strength and just kind of basics, conditioning circuits and stuff. And then in the afternoon, we have actual gymnastics practice that we actually do get on all the equipment and just learn new skills and do routines and stuff and start training for competitions.
Do you in college, do they have the all around, or do most young people specialize in, say, two of the apparatus?
Yeah, and most NCAA teams, they have their 1 or 2 strong all-arounders, and then the other guys will compete around 2-3 events, and that's what they specialize. So most of the guys on the team, they specialize on about 2 or 3 events.
And so what are you specializing?
Last year I was on the club team, so I I did all around. I was the only guy from OU to do all around on the club team. So I just wanted to show myself that I could still do all 6 events, get back to where I was in my prime before I got diagnosed, which is my senior year of high school. And so I ended up competing all around, but this year I'm more focusing on about three events, I think.
Which ones?
Well, right now I'm mainly focusing on floor exercise, parallel bars, and rings. Those are the 3 that I feel, well, my coaches up in Oklahoma, they feel like I have more of a chance at those events, and that's the events I feel more confident and comfortable on, and just I feel stronger on now that I've come back.
Do you like one more than the other?
It depends on the day.
Fair.
Some days I'll have a great day on one event. Some days it can be awful. It's just, right now I've been really enjoying floor. My tumbling seems stronger, and rings and P-bars, the ones I've said, those are my favorite right now, just because the skills are coming more easily to me than on the other events.
Do you think you did better than many people with all the treatments you had? Because as long as I've known you, you have watched what you eat and you have been so physically fit. Did that stead you well when you were going through the worst of your treatments?
Yeah, when I was going through treatments, I always tried to eat healthy, but it was hard because I was on chemo. So some things, if you're on chemo, it's hard to eat some things. So I lost a lot of weight and muscle when I was on chemo, but I still try to eat healthy. And once I got, recovered from surgery enough to where I could just walk on a treadmill or ride a exercise bike while I watched the other guys in practice, that just helped me a lot because I was actually able to do something. Because I've been doing sports or some kind of activities every day for most of my life. And so it's hard. It actually just, my mind became clearer and I had a better mindset is when I started able to work out again.
Certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So you dream and hope of going back.
Yeah.
You're going back soon.
We're going back this Saturday. Yes.
And you will start back. You don't take off, really.
No, you don't take off from gymnastics, really. You have your competition season and then your just normal workout. When you're not in competition season, you're always in the gym trying to get stronger and trying to get more skills and trying to develop your routines to higher difficulty. And so if you take a week, 2 weeks off, it's just you'll come back and you'll lose a lot of things that you've already gained, and so it's just that much harder. That's what makes the sport so difficult.
So when you go back, you will be in that phase prior to your competition season, which begins when?
Around January to April.
Oh, wow. So for a whole semester,
yeah,
they're going to be working you hard.
We're working us hard, getting us ready for just routine shape and just a lot of strength work and endurance for all the hard routines and hard skills. So yeah.
Now I know of at least one tournament, if that's what it's called, mm-hmm, where you were really, really successful, maybe in Tennessee. Did you? Talk to us about some of the highlights and successes of this year.
Yeah, well, this year, or last competition season, like I said, I competed with the club team at OU, and we ended up going to nationals in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so that was a great experience for me to get back into a huge competition. And that was really fun, exciting. It was a great meet. I had my OU team right behind me, so I competed the all-around. I ended up 9th in the all-around, and 3rd on parallel bars, and 6th on rings. And I went into the meet. I was hoping to get top 3 in the all-around, but certain things happened. I fell, but I had a great experience and just a great time, and I was proud of what I did there.
Well, I'm pleased because you've always been hard on yourself. If you didn't win first, uh, you weren't satisfied.
Yeah.
So to go to a national college meet and do that well, Ryan, is unbelievable. And you can see that now, can't you?
Yeah.
Good.
I was just happy to get back there this year, back into I went through a whole competition season back from all the difficulties I've had the past year. Just got pretty much learned all my gymnastics back, learned it all again, and just, now looking back, I'm happy, pleased with myself that I was able to do all that and do that well at nationals.
Your team is composed of young men from all over who've gone to be on one of the best college teams. How is that enriching and different than growing up knowing most of your teammates in high school?
Yeah, I mean, I've made really good friends from California and Chicago, Missouri, just pretty much everywhere. So, I mean, yeah, I love those guys, and just having just all across the nation, come together to form, a team on the NCAA team and club team we're just all extremely close and we'll back each other up no matter what. It's just a great feeling to have when you have friends all over the nation.
And a lot of young people don't get an opportunity as a 20-ish year old person to be around people from so many places, because even though you all have your sport in common, you've come from very different cultures in some cases, or environments. And I think that is a wonderful thing that you will take with you no matter where you end up living when you get in your profession. What are you majoring in?
Majoring in health and exercise science.
So what do you hope to do after you graduate?
So that's I'm in health and exercise science and pre-physical therapy. So hopefully I'll go into physical therapy school or physician's assistant, PA, something along those lines. So something in, healthcare kind of field, or exercise, strength, something like that. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
Tell us if you had a 3 or 4 year old, 5-year-old who was interested, or you hoped you wanted to expose them to gymnastics, what would you give advice about how to pursue that with their children?
Well, as a child and you want to pursue gymnastics, beginning years, just have fun with it. Have fun getting on the equipment and just kind of spend the time in the gym and just have fun with it. And then you can take it more serious when you're older if you really pursue it and work hard. But have fun with it and just try and do what the coach tells you to do. I mean, that's all you can do.
What major skills do you think, when you do become a professional, if it's a physical therapist or in whatever field, what do you think your many years of gymnastics will help set you apart and make you better, because you've given so many years of your life to this?
Yeah. Well, gymnastics is a really technical sport. I mean, you have to have the perfect technique for every skill you learn, and you really have to work hard to strive for perfection. And I feel like that's one of the things that I can take from gymnastics, is just striving for that perfection in whatever field you are. Because I have my coach right now at OU, he's really hard on us to just always have perfect form and just always pay attention to the little details, and that will help you when you go for the bigger skills. It's all about the basics and then the bigger skills. So that kind of in the workforce, I mean, that I feel like that will help me.
So don't settle for mediocrity.
Yeah.
Ever.
Ever. Yeah.
I don't think that's in your DNA, Ryan. I think another observation I have had of you, Ryan, is you're real supportive of your team. You're a leader, and I noticed other young people when you were in high school watching you and wanting your feedback as the younger folks, especially as you were a senior. And so your leadership skills are going to will stead you well as also. You certainly have a work ethic.
Yeah.
You couldn't have been successful in this sport if someone can't make you.
Yeah.
It has to come from within.
Yeah. It has to come from inside you. You have to want it real bad, so bad. Just have to work.
I've seen you want it so bad, Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you have, even if you hadn't had your illness, we already were so proud of you. And then hearing about and watching you go through what you went through for the year plus you have been an inspiration, which is what you hoped and why you didn't quit. And I thank you so much for continuing to come back home. I know you have family here and would have, but share your story. It's not easy to talk about the pain times, but we want to keep up with you, and we want you to keep going to those championship programs, and we're sending you another San Angelo, Brock Barger, to wonderful young man from another great family. And so you all continue to do great things. You're both smart. You both have such good work ethics.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, you're a great young one.
Thank you. Yeah.